guys, what's up? I'm Rihanna. Today I'm here to do a kind of a different video. Today I am going to show you 10 of my favorite books. These books that I have picked out today are books that have had an impact on my life or in my reading life in some sort of way. And I'm very excited to show you guys. I'm going to talk to you guys about what kind of impact they had on me and my reading. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with that. So the first book I'm gonna show you is The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. This book is just downright relatable to me. But we follow a boy named Charlie who writes a series of letters. We don't know who he's writing them to, and it's just about him going through high school and about how he meets two friends that really have an impact on him. Making yourself feel okay with who you are, and even if you're not like a social butterfly, he is just kind of a kept to himself kind of person, but he, with these friends, kind of comes out of his shell, and I just love it. There's just so many reasons why I love this book. Alright, so the next book I have is Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. This book just as a reminder of how I can just, still bring out my inner child, that you don't have to always you mature over time, but you can never really let go your inner child. And it took you on an adventure. It's kind of, this book was a reminder of how we need to embrace our inner kid selves sometimes, and just, it's okay to be an adult, but just never forget really where you come from. Don't let life consume you and to where you can't enjoy things like you used to enjoy as a child. If you don't know what Peter Pan is about, we follow a girl named Wendy Darling. She has two brothers, John and Michael, and she always believed in Peter Pan as a child that never grows up. One night, Peter Pan actually comes because he loses his shadow and takes Wendy and her brothers on an adventure that they'll never forget. Wendy's father wanting her to grow up, and she's just not ready for it, and it is just an amazing book. I love Peter Pan. Tab is a children's book I'm sure a lot of you guys have read before. Very popular children's book. So let me go ahead and show you what it is. And that is Junie B. Jones by Barbara Hart. And this is the first book, Junie B. Jones' Stupid Spelling Bus. I love Junie B. Jones. Let's just be real. When I first started kindergarten, I was actually terrified I wouldn't be able to read. And I actually had a little breakdown because I literally thought I wouldn't be able to read. And I was so scared. And then I started reading Junie B. Jones, and I loved it so much. So it really was the start of my actual love for reading books. And as you can tell, I still have my Walmart sticker on it. This is where I got the book, so I just decided to keep it on there as kind of like a memento. Junie B. Jones is kind of a funny girl, just her first time as she's going into kindergarten and pretty much just going through her first year of school. It's just hilarious. I love this series, and I actually still own all of my books from Junie B. Jones because this is something I would love to pass down. Next book I have is Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater. This book is what got me into young adult books in the first place, thanks to my friend Jordan, and I just love the Shiver trilogy. It was just so cute, and it's just a book I'll never ever not love. And this follows a girl named Grace who lives in Minnesota, and she's always just been fascinated with the wolves. And the wolves have always been they come in her backyard and everything, but one day she actually gets attacked by a wolf. And then this mysterious boy named Sam shows up, and it just goes from there, and it's just absolutely amazing. I love Shiver. Also, what was fascinating is the font in this book is actually blue, and it is the same for the other books. There's the second one's Linger, and it's in green, and then the last one is Forever, which is in red. It's just really cool. The start of the real young adult me coming out. Alright, so the next book I have is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This book really is what impacted me on the classic side, where I got more into wanting to read classics. It's a heartbreaking story. It is, but it's just so great. I love The Great Gatsby. If you don't know what The Great Gatsby is about, We follow our main character named Nick Carraway, which he just recently moved to New York, and he is living in like a small little cottage next to this huge like mansion where his mysterious neighbor lives. And he's never like met him or anything, and he has parties. And then one day he actually gets invited to the party, and lo and behold, we meet the Mr. Great Gatsby. There's just this elaborate story behind Gatsby. The next book I have is Paper Towns by John Green. This book, I feel like I keep saying this book, but this, I mean, literally, these are why some of these are my favorite books, obviously. Fun adventure book. We do things that everyone else does, and it's like, are we actually truly happy with that? But we follow a boy named Quentin, which also his nickname is Q. One day, a girl moves in like next door. Her name is Margot. They become like the best of friends. Then kind of high school rolls around and they just don't even talk anymore. And then till one night she sneaks in his room and she gives him a list of things that she wants him to help her with. After that night though, Margot actually disappears. And it's just kind of Q's adventure of kind of finding out who Margot really is and himself. And I just think this book is amazing. The next book I have is 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. This book has so much controversy over it, and so does the show, of course. Some people don't like this book, some people do. I am one of the people that actually really love this book because it had a huge impact on my life, and I'm not going to go further into this as much, but this book just made me think about a lot of things and how much we have an impact on other people's lives for something that, for an action that we do, and it is just phenomenal. If you don't know what this book is about, we follow our main character Clay, and he actually receives a box of tapes. A girl named Hannah Baker actually just committed suicide, and he receives these tapes, and they're actually from her. It's the reasons why she had killed herself. I cannot even express how much love I have for this book and how much of an impact it had on my life. I'm not going to go too much into detail with that as for another book that I'm about to bring up. Next book I have is It's Kind of a Funny Story by Ned Vizzini. This book is just fantastic and really relatable too as well. And this is the one I was talking about that I'm not going to go much into detail with as to what kind of impact it made on my life, just in my mental health life, I will say. Like with 13 Reasons Why 2, follows a boy named Craig. He basically has driven to the point where he wants to kill himself. So when it comes to that point, he actually decides to check himself in a mental hospital. It's just his experience there and the people that he meets. I read this at the right time after a life experience I had, and it was just so good. The next book I have is The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. It's a girl named Liesel who is actually living in Germany during World War II, and her brother actually just died because he actually gets very sick. They're on their way to actually live with different people because where they lived was just gone basically. And so when they're burying her brother, she discovers a grave digger's handbook, and from then on it is just basically how she falls in love with reading because she's learning to actually how to read, and then she just falls in love with it. And I just have this so much more appreciation for reading after reading this book. I've always appreciated reading, but this really made me appreciate it even more, and I love this so much. Next book I have is The Immortal Lynchman City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. This book helped me get through some of the darkest times of my life. The whole series did, really, and it just let me escape from the world I was living in, and I really needed it. This is a girl named Clary Frey, and she's actually out on her birthday, and she goes into this club called the Pandemonium Club, and she sees these three people that are just very different and actually witnesses a murder. And she discovers actually that she is a shadow hunter, which is a person who fights demons, and how it just really changes her life. I just will never not mention the series because it's so amazing. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, you make sure you give it a big old thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time with another video. Bye!